always hot, and in that heat, everything grows and grows and grows. The tops of the trees in the rainforest are called a canopy. A canopy is a sunny place that touches the sky. Animals that live there like lots of light. Colorful parrots fly from tree to tree. Monkeys leap from branch to branch. The bottom of the rainforest is called the understory.
Animals that live in the understory like darkness. In the understory, silent snakes curl over hanging vines, graceful jaguars watch and wait. And in this steamy environment, the great kapok tree shoots up through the forest and emerges above the canopy. This is a story of a community of animals that live in one such tree in the rainforest.
Two men walked into the rainforest. Moments before, the rainforest had been alive with sounds of squawking birds and howling monkeys. Now all was quiet as the creatures watched the two men and wondered why they had come.
The larger man stopped and pointed to the great kapok tree as he left.
The smaller man took the axe he carried and struck the trunk of the tree. The sounds of the mighty blows rang through the forest.
Chop, chop, chop.
The man wiped off the sweat that ran down his face and neck.
Whack, chop, whack, chop.
Soon the man grew tired. He sat down to rest at the foot of the great kapok tree. Before he knew it, the heat and hum of the forest lulled him to sleep.
A boa constrictor lived in the great kapok tree. She slithered down its trunk to where the man was sleeping. She looked at the gash the axe had made in the tree. Then the snake slid very close to the man and hissed in his ear.
Senor, this tree is a tree of miracles. It is my home where generations of my ancestors have lived. Do not chop it down. A group of bees buzzed down from the canopy of the forest. They knew the sleeping man and buzzed into his ear.
Senor, I have this in this tree. We travel from flower to flower and tree to tree collecting pollen. We pollinate the trees and flowers throughout the rainforest. You see, Senor, all living things depend upon one another. A troop of monkeys scampered down from the canopy of the kapok tree. They chattered to the sleeping man. Senor, we see the ways of man. You chop down one tree and then go back for another and another. The roots of these great trees will wither and die, and there will be nothing left to hold the earth in place if the cutting and destruction continues. When the heavy rains come, the soil will be washed away and the forest will become a desert. Then where will we find the medicines that keep us well?
A toucan and macaw raptor flew down from the canopy.
Senor,
Squawked the toucan.
you must not cut down this tree. We have flown all over the rainforest and seen what happens once you begin chopping down the trees. Many people settle on the land. They set fires to clear the underbrush and soon the forest disappears.
Where once there was life and beauty, only black and smoldering ruins remain.
Some bright and small tree frogs crawled along the edge of a leaf. In their squeaky voice, they peeped into the man's sleeping ear. Since it is warm in the great kapok tree, many bugs come that we eat. If you chop down this great tree, where will we find the bugs that fly high?
Senor, a ruined rainforest means ruined lives, many ruined lives. Our children are born to live in this great tree. If you chop it down, you'll leave many of us homeless. A jaguar had been sleeping along the branch in the middle of the tree. Because his spotted coat blended into the dappled light and shadows of the understory, no one had noticed him. he leapt down and padded silently over to the sleeping man, he growled in his ear.
Senor, the kapok tree is home to many birds and animals. If you cut it down, where will I find my dinner? Two porcupines swung down from branch to branch and whispered to the man.
Senor, do you know what we animals need in order to live? Oxygen.
And senor, do you know what trees produce?
Oxygen.
If you cut down the forest, you will destroy which gives us all life. Several anteaters climbed down the kapok tree with their young clinging to their back. The unstruck anteater said to the sleeping man,
Senor, you are chopping down this tree with no thoughts for the future. Surely you know that what happens tomorrow depends upon what you do today. The big man tells you to chop down a beautiful tree. But he does not think of his own children, who tomorrow must live in a world without trees, missing the wonderful life cycles and events that take place in this forest. The anteaters were followed by a family of toadies.
Senor, we Mondays are omnivores. We search for fruit, bird eggs, and other small invertebrates high in the canopy of this wonderful tree. We use our snout to poke through crevices to find animal prey. Our claws also help us climb trees to escape harm. Without it, we have no future.
a three-toed sloth had begun climbing down from the canopy when the men first appeared. Only now did he reach the ground, flying ever so slowly over to the sleeping man, he spoke in his deep and lazy voice.
Senor, how much is beauty worth? Can you live without it? If you destroy the beauty of the
A child from the Yanomamo tribe who lived in the rainforest knelt over the sleeping man. She spoke in the sleeping man's ear.
Senor, when you awake, please look upon us all with new eyes.
The man awoke with a start. Before him stood the rainforest child, and all around him, staring, were the creatures of the rainforest who depended upon the kapok tree, what rare and wondrous animals they were.
The man looked about and saw the sun streaming through the canopy. Spots of the bright light glowed like jewels amidst the dark green forest. Strange and beautiful plants seemed to dangle in the air suspended from the great kapok tree.
The man smelled the fragrant perfume of their flowers. He felt the steamy mist rising from the forest floor, but he heard no sound, for the creatures were strangely silent.
The man stood and picked up his axe. He swung back as though to strike the tree. Suddenly, he stopped. He turned and looked at the animals and the child.
He hesitated, then he dropped his axe and walked out of the rainforest.